Hello everyone, I am Rohit. I, on behalf of Sierra Window Society, would like to welcome all the teachers to one of the most successful and innovative idea sharing platform of India, ZIIEI. That is Zero Investment Innovation for Education Initiative. Here we will be discussing about new and innovative techniques for the different lessons from our chapters. And in short, we will learn how to make the whole process of learning fun and interesting for the kids. Today, the chapter that I'll be covering is from Class 5 NCERT board. Subject is mathematics, and the name of the lesson is area and its boundary. The innovation that I'll be using here for covering this lesson is known as seeing is believing, that is, field trips. The main innovation behind using this idea is to make the students understand the concepts that have been taught in the lesson through different excursions. And when we are doing the activities, when we are relating the concepts with the through environment, explaining them with the help of the environment, that it increases the retention time of the concepts that have been taught. Some of the important concepts that we'll be covering with the help of this innovation are learning about area and perimeter, how to find area and perimeter of different rectangular shapes, and applying the basic modes of operations in measuring lengths. The duration for this activity will be 1 day. Before implementing this idea, we need to make some pre-arrangements. First of all, we need to take permission from the school for taking the students for a field excursion. Next, we need to give the students a consent letter to get a consent letter signed from their respective parents. And thirdly, we need to take a helper and educate so that they can help us during the excursion. Prior to the excursion, we inform the students that we are going to a field trip and you will have to carry along with you your lunch box, your pencil box, and your water bottle. Every kid will be bringing that along with a newspaper, because with the pre-arrangements there was another pre-arrangement, that is we need to take old newspaper, measuring tape, and wooden sticks. On the day of the field trip, when we reach the spot, we divide the whole class into three groups, and we give each of the students a wooden stick, and we tell them that today we'll be learning about geometrical shapes with the help of different hands-on materials. We ask the students to draw a square on the ground and lay the newspapers over it in such a way that none of the newspaper is overlapping over one another. And while they are doing that, we ask them to note down few observations, like how many newspapers are there within the square, how many newspapers are there in the boundary of the square, and how many newspapers are there in the side of the square. We give them sufficient time for this, and we also make sure to keep an observation of that so that it is done under our observation. Once they are done, we initiate a discussion regarding the activities they've been done. We ask them, how many newspapers have you used while to cover the whole square? They will write say number. We ask them the other questions also. Next, we initiate to teach them about finding the length of a square. We ask them how many newspapers are there in one side of yours. They will they will count it, and we also give them the information that the length of one newspaper will be equal to 1 centimeter. And when we ask them the length, they might add up all the newspapers and say, suppose there are five newspapers, they will say that it's 5 centimeter. Then we inform them that we can also find the length of a newspaper, since the length is same for all the newspapers, so we can multiply the number of newspapers into 1, so that will be 1 into 5, that is 5 centimeter. Next, we move on to giving them the explanation about the perimeter. We ask them, can you tell me the perimeter of the square? They start counting, and they start counting all the newspapers in the boundaries, and they calculate it and give it to you. Suppose there are 20 newspapers around the whole boundary, and they will say 20 centimeter. We tell them that just like the previous activity, since we have multiplied the whole number of newspapers into 1 centimeter for finding one side, since in a square all sides are equal, so what we can do, we can just find the measurement of one side and multiply it by 4. So in this case, we can just find out the measurement of one side, that is, which we have already found, that is 5 centimeter into 4, that is 20 centimeter, and so on. Next, we move on to giving them the concept about area, how to find the area of the square. We ask them how many newspapers are there in total within the square. They find out the newspaper and just multiply it by 1. Then we tell them that that is also a correct procedure for finding out the square, for finding out the area of a square. But since all the sides are equal and the formula for finding the um, area is length into breadth, so we can what we can do, we can multiply any two sides of the square and that will give us the answer. That is 5 into 5 into 5, that is 25 centimeters square. That way we continue with the class. Once we are done with this, we next just give the students one measuring tape and ask them to, this time they will be measuring with the measuring tape and find out the observations like the area, the perimeter, and the length, and so on. And they will write the observations in the notebook. Once they're done with this, again we initiate the discussion process like the previous one. We ask them about the area, we ask them about the perimeter, we ask them about the uh, length of the square, and so on. And then we again start asking them various questions about the different geometrical shapes, how to find out those areas, how to find out those perimeters, and so on, with the help of the different hands-on available things that are there with us. This way we continue with the class, giving the students a better understanding of the things which they have already learned in the lesson, but now they are experiencing all the things in a much more practical way with hands-on experience. And when we start teaching the students in this way, they start getting a number of learning outcomes. First of all, when they will be making the square and laying out the newspapers in such a way that they do not overlap, then it will help in developing their decision making and critical thinking process. When the students will be working in groups, it will help in the development of interpersonal skills and teamwork. And also when the students will be responding to your questions, the questions which you'll be asking and the questions which they will have to answer after doing the activity, it will help in the development of communication skills, linguistic skills, and so on. Apart from this, they will also be able to visualize the concepts that you have taught in the class in a much more practical and better way. And for this video, that's all for this video. I hope you like this video, and I'm pretty much sure that when you start implementing these ideas in your own classroom, then you will start getting a lot of other benefits apart from the ones which I've mentioned. And if you liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to our official channel ZIIEI. Thank you.